All right. Thank you so much. So, you guys, who y'all just heard from, let me throw it back to that young lady. Her name is Alea, you guys, Anderson. She's out of the DC market area, you guys. She's a gold builder. And let me tell you, she just popped her first gold builder on today. So, huge congratulations to you, right? Fast tracking to DIT inside of this opportunity. And so, thank you so much, you guys. She does this on a part time basis, so understand results can be achieved on a part-time basis. So Lele, thank you so much for always just being a servant leader and helping us out, right? So you guys, we're not going to be on here very long at all. We're going to talk about some business etiquette today because it's necessary, right? And we can't fault people for what they don't know. So I want to make sure that we get everybody educated on it. This is a presentation that you're going to see. You guys are going to see Coach Nat doing worldwide from here on out as she travels around. What we see a lot of times is people who have never had to be in a business sector or setting, right? They don't know how they should conduct themselves as far as etiquette at these events. So let's just go ahead and make sure that we all get the same type of education on that across the board, right? All right. So business event etiquette, you guys. So etiquette, the customary code of polite behavior in society or among members of a particular profession or group. All right. So event etiquette don'ts, you guys. Some things that you do not want to do. You don't want to wait in the lobby for your guests. Guys, this sends a message that you need them. You never want to appear desperate, all right? There are ushers and people at the tables that will get your guests to the proper place that they need to be. So you don't want to be the one saying, "Oh my goodness, we're 5 minutes into the meeting. Let me run outside and go greet my guests." No, if we're already into the meeting, you guys, you want to greet them after the fact. You do not want to send the message that you need them and you're so desperate for them to be here, right? Don't skip the guest in line, you guys. So at the end of the meetings, the leaders are up at the front of the room, and they're up at the front of the room so that they can talk to your guests. Don't skip them because you want a picture so bad or you want your question answered so bad. The guests need to speak to the leaders first, and then once the leaders are done speaking to all of the guests and answering their questions, so they can close out your guests and make sure they get them partnered with you, then the business partners, you guys can chime in. Don't ask questions during picture time. So if you're in Mr. Bradley's line or Coach Nat's line or Mr. Moore's line, and there's a line of 20 people to take pictures, this is not the time for you guys to be asking your questions. It's a limited time frame as to how many people can get pictures in. So picture time is picture time, you guys. Please always be aware of what's going on. This is picture time is very limited. So you also don't want to take longer than 10 seconds, right? Get in, get out, get your picture, be kind to others, and let them get theirs. Don't be rude to others, you guys. You would be so surprised how many times in the picture line we see people get confrontational with each other. That leader is willing to take pictures with everybody, right? Within that allotted time frame. There's no need to get rude with your business partners, to become unprofessional or anything of that sort. It never looks good on your end. Don't interrupt your leaders while eating their food. You guys, we see this happen all the time. Your leader will be about to take a bite of a sandwich or a mouthful of meat, and you're like, "Hey, I know you're eating, but can I get a picture?" Or, "Hey, I know you're eating, but I got a quick question." It is so rude, you guys. You don't want anybody walking up to you while you have a mouthful of meat and trying to interrupt you while you're trying to enjoy your meal. And you guys got to understand, leaders are pulled left and right, y'all. So a lot of times when they get that 10 minutes to eat, that's probably one of the very few times that day they've gotten to eat. So please be mindful of not interrupting them while they're trying to eat their food. Because even when you walk up and you say, "Oh, I know you're eating, but can I?" It's rude. It's still rude. All right. Don't interrupt them in any activity for pictures. So if you see that they're doing something, you guys, there's a time and a place for everything, and just be aware of that. Don't yell for your leaders in the front. We know that you love them, guys. We know you love your coaches and mentors. And a lot of times, Mr. Bradley will say, "Hold your applause so we can clap for everybody at the end." And you'll get Fourth way in, and you'll hear, um, Angelica Turner, woo! And it's like, we know y'all love her, but at the end of the day, you guys don't do that. It's so rude to the next person who has to speak. The crowd doesn't get to hear that person. So if Mr. Bradley says, hold your applause to the end, y'all be coachable. We're adults. Hold your applause to the end and clap for everybody. All right? Don't yell amen. Y'all, we know you love your business. But you'd be surprised, we're in the middle of a 60-minute meeting, a Super Saturday, a meeting or something, and somebody, yeah, amen. Oh, yeah. We know you love the information, but you yelling amen. Your guests are in the front. They're trying to hear the information, you guys. So please be mindful of that. Don't walk around while the meeting is going on. Y'all, it's the home of the 60-minute meeting. For 60 minutes as adults, we should be able to come in early, use the bathroom, get our water, do whatever we need to do so we can sit still, because it is a huge distraction to adults who are easily distracted. All right. So sit still, right? Don't be that person, got to get up every 5 seconds in the meeting, got to walk and do this and run here. Do all of that stuff before you get there, okay? Don't walk up. Oh, sorry. Don't save seats, y'all. It's unfair to the people who get there early. It's very unfair, and Planet Marketing is really cracking down on this. If people arrive early, they should have access to those front row seats. But if you get there and you save them for all your 8 friends that are late, that's unfair to the people who busted their behind and got there early. Don't talk during the training, y'all. That goes back to the yelling and the amen and all that stuff. Again, it's information that the BPs are trying to get. So talking during the training is distracting for others. If you cannot sit and be quiet for 60 minutes, go ahead and stand in the back of the room by yourself so you have no one else to talk to, because it's a distraction and it's harmful for the business. Bringing children who are under the age of 12 years old, y'all, that is a Planet Marketing rule. It's always been like that. You know, we love the kids, but we can't have a 1-year-old in the back hollering, screaming, and crying, and we're trying to conduct a business meeting, right? You don't take your kids to work with you. So it's the same concept, okay? So no kids under 12. All right. Don't walk to the front when you know you're late. Y'all, even the #1 income earner, Natalie Graham, if she is late, she's going to sit in the back. She is not going to walk to the front and disrupt the production of what is going on. Don't get in the leader's way while they're trying to use the restroom. You guys, this is huge. I have seen people line up to take photos with Natalie when she comes out the bathroom stall. First of all, let's talk about sanitary. Can you let the young lady wash her hands? Like it's you would be surprised how people do, you guys. So please teach your business partners as well. First and foremost, it's never a good look for you to be just hanging out in the bathroom anyway, knowing that we're at an event, at a training, at a meeting. And 9 times out of 10, if coach stopped to run to the restroom, she's got to get right back in the room so she can train or do whatever she's doing on that day. Give her testimony, whatever. So you guys, please allow the leaders to get on through the bathroom without being disrupted so they can get back in and into their seats. And you got to understand, they have to be fair. So if they stop and do it for you, now guess what? 20 more people in the bathroom want to take a picture, right? All right. Don't ask the leaders questions when they are exiting. So there is a Q&A session at these events. Nobody wants to use the session, but as soon as they see Mr. Cedric White with his coat and his fur on, and he's walking to his car, Mr. White, can I ask you a question? He's clearly about to jump in that car and leave. So you guys utilize the Q&A sessions that you have access to instead of saying, oh, I didn't want to ask in front of the crowd. Then you just missed your opportunity, because now this gentleman is exiting and it's rude for you to try to stop him on the way to opening his car door. All right. Don't introduce yourself with nicknames in the front of the room. Y'all, when you get to the front of the room, if you're a gold builder and above and you're getting that introductory or that recognition piece of the presentation, no, my name is not Shaquana. They call me Lele Harris. No, it is your government name. This is a business meeting. You're conducting business, you guys. We don't want your nickname, right? Not using slang in the front of the room. People love to get up there and say, yes, period, and all this stuff. Yeah, I use the same terminology. I just don't do it in the front of the room, right? So keeping it professional, even in front of the room. Chewing gum in the front of the room. I know it's sometimes hard to mistake. You just were chewing it at your seat and then you just walk straight up there. Y'all, please spit your gum out. It's super rude to be in the front of the room. It's a distraction. People are looking at your mouth, watching you chew. So make sure you spit that out. Don't do more than ask. Stick to the script, you guys. We always say, goal builders, please state your name, occupation in one word. Why plan that? This is not the time to shout out your sponsors, shout out your friends in the audience who came to see your business, support your business, see your business launch. It is not the time for that, y'all. Name, occupation, one word. Y'all, you have to stick to the script, okay? It's a professional meeting. It is timed. And when you guys, if 10 goal builders come up and y'all don't stick to the script, the time frame of your leaders ensuring that it's a 60-minute presentation, you now making it harder on us as the leaders presenting to keep our time frame. That's why there's a script. So please, please, please make sure you stick to the script and don't do more than what is asked. And sometimes the script may get smaller. It may be state your name and occupation. Pay attention, you guys. Pay attention, okay? Don't be the person who doesn't tip the staff at restaurants. They could be a prospect. So something that was shared with the audience was Mr. Bradley had a prospect who came to Blackout, and he introduced that prospect to Coach Natalie. And so then afterwards, everyone goes out to eat at this particular restaurant, and the prospect is a waiter at this restaurant. And so a lot of the Coach Nat, of course, her table tipped this gentleman, but other tables of other leaders and business partners from Planet Marketing, nobody tipped him but one table. And the one table gave him $5 on a bill that was over $250 and some change. All right. So when Coach Natalie tipped him and her table tipped him, he said, do you know, I saw all those people walking in the front of the room and all these people at that meeting talking about money, and none of them tipped me but one table, and they only gave me $5. So imagine him thinking he met Mr. Bradley, the CEO. Mr. Bradley's talking to him about joining his business. Mr. Bradley introduces him to the other millionaires he's created. He sees all these people looking sharp, coming to Blackout, and now he waits on these tables, and he gets no tip on some, and he gets $5 on one. That is very hard for a person to close a prospect, and we're talking all this money with them, and then they see some of the people in our very company don't even spend the tip money. So y'all be mindful, even if it's not your prospect, it could be someone else's prospect. So it could be the founder's prospect, like it is in this example. So don't be that person trying to prospect people, talking about money with them, talking about making money with them, and you don't even tip, right, for the service that you receive. All right. Don't wear a guest name badge when you are a business partner. And business partners, if this is your BP, don't allow it either. We've had some people to bring their business partners to meet the millionaires, and they'll say, hey, this is my business partner. They started last week, but the person has a guest name badge on. So that person didn't pay their $10 and they're a business partner. And you're teaching them bad practices and habits. And like Mr. Bradley says, if they don't have the $10, you paid for them. And if you guys don't have it together, I'm pretty sure if you went to your upline leader, they would not turn you away for $10, knowing that you guys are trying to attend the meeting and be plugged in. So, all right. So, some business etiquette. These are some do's, you guys. Do be sure that you arrive 30 minutes prior to the meeting, right? Or they always say that on time is late, right? So arrive 30 minutes prior. Bring a positive attitude, you guys. We know everybody's days are hectic by the time they get to the meeting. Just leave your problems in the car, okay? You always want to bring positive energy into the meeting. Record testimonies, but not the trainings or the presentation. Record the testimonies, but do not record the presentations or the trainings, you guys. You can take pictures during those times, but do not record the trainings or the presentation. If y'all see somebody doing this, tap them on the shoulder and just let them know, it's not allowed, okay? Make sure you stand up. for the bronze, silver, and gold builders when they're recognized during these times at the meeting. Make sure you stand up, right? You guys understand you may have guests in the room, or your BPs may have guests in the room, or there's guests in the room, period, right? And we want to create the culture that we celebrate those people. So please make sure that you stand. It takes 2 seconds. Stand up, clap, clap, sit on down, right? Dress appropriately, you guys. This, you're coming to a business event, you want to be dressed the way you want to be addressed, right? And also let your prospects know, because we've seen in the past where prospects will be like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I had to dress up for this. She didn't tell me. And now they feel uncomfortable. We've had prospects leave and go home and say they'll come back another time because they weren't dressed properly. So y'all, it takes 2.5 seconds to just let your prospect know, hey, it's business casual, right? Check your hygiene, right? Something coach always preaches about is having breath mints or some gum, making sure you carry your deodorant. Like, we're human beings. It's natural for us to sweat. It's perfectly fine, but have some stuff with you to make sure, especially if you sweat a lot or things of that nature, right? Contribute to the room cost. So that goes back to y'all. Mr. Bradley has his card on the door. Some leader has their card on the door paying for that room. So when you come in and you're a BP and you don't pay your $10, imagine 10 people doing that. Imagine 20 people doing that. Y'all, these leaders pay for us to have these rooms. So it's only right for us to contribute to that room cost by paying our fees. And then on top of that, you pay $10 and you get to bring unlimited amounts of guests. So it's really a win-win for us all, you guys. So make sure you contribute to the room cost. Turn off your cell phones, those alarms, all the dings, the rings, the things, y'all. It's a business meeting, right? There should be no distractions. So cell phones included. Stay seated no matter what. Of course, not all that walking around is a distraction to others. Not talking during the presentation. Utilize the Q&A sessions at the events, you guys. So again, there is a session where business partners can ask questions. Don't be that person that says, hey, I didn't want to ask in front of the room, or hey, I didn't want to go up there to the mic, but can I ask you da 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 da? Those leaders cannot sit there and stop and talk to 100, 20 and 40 people with the questions that y'all didn't want to go to the mic with. That's very time consuming for them. It takes away from what they have going on. And a lot of times you have to understand they have other places that they're going once these events are over. So utilize the Q&A sessions at the events to get your questions answered. Guys, make sure y'all participate, right? Sometimes the guests can be a tough crowd. So help your leaders out that are in front of the room. Make sure you clap. Make sure you laugh at the jokes. Make sure you're sitting up straight and helping us to create the energy in the room for the guests. So these are some tips for pictures, right? So guys, make sure you clean off your camera lens. Don't come up with a timer on your camera, because it takes 10 seconds to wait on your timer to count down to take that picture, when we could have just took 2 more pictures with 2 more BPs. So make sure your timer is not on. No filters on your camera. We know you guys love Snapchat and all that good stuff, you guys, but at the end of the day, we don't need any whiskers and bunny ears and all that funny, cute stuff for the picture. Don't post a picture if the leader's eyes were closed or in the middle of talking or etc. We see all the time, you guys will get a picture with a leader and the leader's eyes was closed, or they were like, and you post the picture anyway, but you wouldn't post that type of picture of your own self. So just come on, be respectful, you guys. Make sure, or if it's something you're unsure about, inbox the picture to the leader and say, hey, is it okay to post this like you? Because what you don't want to do is that, them see it online and they inbox you and tell you, please remove that picture of me off of your social media. Again, hygiene. And if you are under the weather, you guys, wait until the next event to get a picture. Y'all, please be considerate. Some people are so hell bent on getting a photo with that leader that you're sick, you've been coughing, your nose running, you're under the weather, you got a temperature. You want to run up and take that picture, and that small interaction could have just gotten that leader sick, and that leader has to go home to a family. And now what if they got their family sick and children and spouses? So y'all, please, let's be responsible as adults. If you know your BP is under the weather or you're under the weather, wait till the next event and get that picture, okay? You can still leverage while you're there with your mask on or whatever you're doing. You can snap a picture of the leader. You don't necessarily have to be in it. And to be honest with you, Photoshop your behind in it. Nowadays, we have all this AI and all that stuff. But anyways, all right, a few boundaries. So boundaries, inviting yourself to a leader's residence or private event after the meeting is over. A lot of people will hang around trying to see what that leader is going to do. Guys, if you were invited, you would have received the invite. Please don't embarrass yourselves in that way. It could don't put, you wouldn't want anybody just inviting themselves to your home or something that you're hosting privately. So please don't put your leaders in that position as well to have to address that. Asking your leader any questions that's non-business related or personal questions without permission. Y'all, it's business. You're at a business event. Don't ask the leader about who they were hanging out with last night and who, all that outside stuff that's way too personal. It's a business event, you guys. And that's all that I have on business etiquette.